So the development that we have, the new world that we embraced to start building and involve more technology and try and yield more food by using science, by using chemicals, by using genetically modified crops, we've started creating new problems for ourselves because we're like, okay, we're trying to solve one problem by creating another problem. So this history matters to where we are today because we've evolved. We are where we are right now. So we can't really go back into the past. But it's important for us to understand our history from the past because every time we try advance and say that, oh, science is advancing and we're able to do this thing now, or this new research has come out, we're also creating new problems. By solving one problem, we're creating another problem. So it's like a game of ping pong. Boom, boom, boom. So these important things to understand when it comes to science and understanding what God intended, the nature, how we are supposed to interact with nature, how things were already set in motion. But what you find is that as humans, we've always been looking for growth, resources. And by us expanding, we've now settled into countries where some countries have good land where they can farm, there's agriculture, and they don't need to modify food. And some places, they don't have great weather or climate for certain foods. So they either import or they have to engineer their food so that it gives them the same nutrients, the same nutritional value. But it's always going to come at a cost. It's always going to come at a cost by trying to engineer your food because your body has to interact with the engineered food because some of the things are not natural. They're not what God intended. That is not the design that God had for us to begin with. So we need to understand that first. When our bodies now eat this modified food, it's going to create new problems, sickness, disease. And when you look at, let's say, some of the animals I've talked about, pigs and shellfish, when you talk about the sea, these are also scavengers. The animals and the fish that were designed by God to clean the ecosystem, to clean our environments. So some people tend to eat some of these animals and fish. But yes, you can eat them. It's not that you're going to die or it's like a sin, you're not going to go to heaven. But the point is, for our own health, eating things that were not intended for us by God leads us into new problems, different problems that were not intended for us to face to begin with. So that is the fundamental understanding of food, our interaction with food, the relationship we're supposed to have with food, and some of the history. I've kind of skimmed through some of that, but I hope you get the idea of what's happened in the past and what God intends for us. Whether you say it's God that has determined some of these things or it's science, but the principle remains the same. And science also proves this. This is a blueprint that has been existing since the beginning of time. This is the blueprint. When we hear about this new research, new science, always understand, okay, how does this interact with what God intended, with how we're supposed to interact? So now you might be asking, okay, Nate, so what does this have to do with nutrition? What does this have to do with calories? This is very important. You need to pay attention to the next part. Science has done some good things. Now, when we say we're now eating engineered food, we're eating all of these things that we're not supposed to eat, we've had to find ways to solve some of the problems. Because back in the day, people would go out, fishing, hunting, they'll be exercising, they'll be moving around. They're not living in houses and apartments. They had yards, they had so much land that they could run around in and play around in. And they would have different things that they did that required the physical activity. They were not stuck on their phones, laptops, TVs. They were moving. They were always in motion. They would be in communities where they're interacting with other people and getting out, not sitting at a computer or staring at a phone. Things have changed.